The first thing my father said wasn't angry. It was scared. You wouldn't actually do this. He was standing at the kitchen window, staring at the front yard like it had betrayed him. The coffee on the counter had gone cold. I could smell it. Burnt and bitter. The sign had gone up an hour earlier. For sale. I didn't answer him right away. I was leaning against the island, arms folded, trying not to shake. Not from fear. From adrenaline. Honestly, I'd imagined this moment about 10 different ways. None of them felt like this. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. Too quiet. My name is Danielle Mercer. I am 35 years old. I bought this house 3 years ago. Signed the papers alone. Sat in that closing office alone. I remember my hand cramping from writing my name over and over. 287 pages. I counted. That's how serious I was about it. Dad finally turned around. "You're selling the house because your sister needs help." He said it like I'd lost my mind. "No," I said. "I'm selling it because you decided it wasn't mine anymore." He blinked. Like that wasn't what he meant. Like words don't count once they're out. The thing is, I didn't wake up wanting to sell it. I didn't want to blow up my own stability. I liked this house. I liked knowing exactly what my mortgage was every month. I liked being the responsible one. But something shifted 3 weeks ago at dinner. One sentence. That's all it took. And now there's a sign in my yard. If you're wondering how a family gets to this point. It didn't start with the sign. It started at the table. 3 weeks earlier. We were sitting at the kitchen table. Just the two of us. Tuesday night. Nothing dramatic. The dishwasher was humming too loud, like it always does. Dad didn't ease into it. "Alyssa's moving in," he said, reaching for the salt like this was about dinner. "She needs stability." I laughed. I actually laughed. "For how long?" He shrugged. "As long as she needs." That's when my stomach tightened. With the kids, I asked. Of course with the kids. I waited. I swear I gave him space to correct himself, to say we'd talk about it, to ask. He didn't. "You're already covering the house," he went on. "It won't change much." I stared at him. "It won't change much." He leaned back like I was being dramatic. "You make good money, Danielle. This is what family does. I pay $2,940 a month on the mortgage," I said, "plus $760 in escrow, plus utilities." "It changes." He waved his hand. "Numbers. You always hide behind numbers." I hide behind numbers because they're real. That's when he shifted. I felt it. "Your sister is going through a divorce," he said. "She has 2 kids. What do you expect me to do? Let them struggle. I expect you to ask me before you move people into my house." "It's our house," he snapped. "No." That was new. "It's in my name," I said quietly. He stood up. "So what? You're going to throw your own blood out because of paperwork I'm asking for a conversation, and I'm telling you it's happening." There it was. Not a request. A declaration. I should have yelled, honestly. Maybe that would have been easier, but I didn't. "And if I'm not okay with that," I asked. He looked straight at me. "Then maybe this isn't the right house for you anymore." That sentence just hung there. Heavy. Final. I don't think he realized what he'd done. Or maybe he did. I remember thinking, did he really just make my own home conditional? I didn't argue after that. I went upstairs, sat on the edge of my bed, opened my laptop, and started running numbers. I opened my spreadsheet before I opened my feelings. That's kind of my flaw. Numbers sit still. People don't. Mortgage $2,940. Escrow $760. Utilities average $480. If Alyssa and the kids moved in full-time, groceries would jump. At least $800 more. Maybe $1,000 once school lunches and snacks stacked up. Internet would need upgrading. Water, electric. Everything expands when more people breathe inside a house. I added it up slowly. Over $4,000 every month. Mine. No one else's name on the loan. No one else's credit on the line. I stared at the total longer than I needed to. Then I texted her, "Dad says you're moving in." She replied almost immediately, "Yeah, it's temporary." Temporary, that word again. Like duct tape over something cracked. How temporary, I typed. "As long as I need," she sent back. Then, "You're good. Right good." Like this was a casual favor. I called her. "Why didn't you talk to me first?" I asked. She exhaled hard. "Because I didn't think you'd make it complicated. It's my house. It's Dad's house too." "No," I said, steady. "It isn't." Silence. Then softer. Almost practiced. "You know I can't qualify for a rental. My credit's shot." "How shot?" She hesitated. "After the divorce, there's the car repossession, 2 credit cards and collections, missed payments on the medical bills." This was new. Dad hadn't mentioned that. "I didn't know about the repossession," I said. "Well, I didn't exactly send out a newsletter," she snapped. I rubbed my forehead. "I'm not attacking you. I'm asking for information." "I have 2 kids," she said. "Do you think landlords are lining up? I'm asking for a timeline." 3 months, 6. "I don't know," she said. "I'm still trying to breathe." There it was. Not guilt. Fear. "I can't carry this indefinitely," I said. "I need something concrete." "You make 6 figures. Danielle, you'll be fine." That stung more than I expected. Because it wasn't about whether I'd survive. It was about whether my work automatically converted into open access. "You don't get to spend my stability because I built it," I said quietly. "That's harsh." "No," I said. "It's math." After we hung up, I sat there staring at the spreadsheet again. The numbers didn't care about divorce or children or shame. They didn't bend for emotion. They just accumulated. I called Karen, the realtor who'd helped me buy the place. "I'm not committed," I told her. "But if I listed, realistically, what would it sell for?" She didn't hesitate. "Recent comps in Dublin are between 615 and 630,000. Inventory's low. It would move. 620,000, give or take. Enough to reset everything." I leaned back in my chair and felt something settle. If the house wasn't fully mine in practice, maybe it needed to stop being mine on paper too. I didn't tell Dad about the realtor. Not yet. I wanted to see how far he'd go. 2 days later, I came home from work and the garage door was open. There were 2 twin mattresses leaning against my storage shelves, pink blanket folded on top, a plastic bin labeled Alyssa, kitchen. I just stood there. The air smelled like dust and cardboard. Dad walked out from inside like this was normal. "They're just dropping some things off early," he said. "Who is they, Alyssa and the kids? She doesn't live here." "She will." I walked past him into the house. My office door was open. My desk had been pushed against the wall. There were 3 boxes stacked where my chair usually was. I turned around slowly. "You went into my office." "It's just space," he said. "You can work from the dining room. I work from home 3 days a week, and you'll adjust." There it was again. Adjust! Like I was elastic. Alyssa came in behind him carrying a trash bag of clothes. "Hey," she said too brightly. "We're trying to stay organized. In my office," I asked. "It's temporary," she said. "Stop saying that." She rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic." Dad crossed his arms. "This house is big enough. That's not the point." "Then, what is the point?" he shot back. "The point is, you both decided this without me." "You're acting like we're strangers," Alyssa said. "We're family." I laughed once. Short. "Not nice. Family doesn't move mattresses into someone's garage without asking." Dad's voice hardened. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, and you're making it permanent." Alyssa dropped the bag onto the floor. "So what? You're going to kick us out. I haven't kicked anyone out." I said, Yet. That word hung between us. Dad stepped closer. You wouldn't. He said it like a dare. I looked at the boxes in my office. At the way my space had already shifted. You already told me this isn't my house if I don't agree. I said, remember he didn't answer. I went upstairs, shut my bedroom door, sat on the edge of the bed. They thought I was bluffing. That was their mistake. Have you ever realized mid-argument that you're the only one taking it seriously? I met Karen at the house on Thursday afternoon. Dad had taken the car. Alyssa was at the school office trying to enroll the kids. The house felt staged even though nothing had changed yet, like it already knew. Karen walked room to room with her clipboard. You've maintained it well. She said, new roof, updated kitchen. In this market we can list at $625,000. Possibly $630 if we're strategic. What if it sits? I asked. It won't, she said. Inventory's tight, but we price it right. And after we accept an offer 30 days to close if financing is clean. Inspection within 10. 10 days for someone to decide what was wrong with my life on paper. I nodded. List it. She studied my face. This isn't impulsive. No, I said. It's late. The photographer came Friday. Bright lights, wide angles. My bedroom staged like a model home. My office cleared of boxes so buyers wouldn't see what had already happened. Saturday morning, the sign went in. I watched through the kitchen window as the post was hammered into the ground. The sound traveled through the glass. Thud, thud, thud. It felt like punctuation. Dad saw it from the driveway. What is that? He asked, though he knew. A sign. For what? For sale. He stared at me like I'd betrayed him personally. You listed the house. Yes. You're serious. I am. Alyssa stepped onto the porch. Are you kidding me? No. You're doing this because I moved in. I'm doing this because you moved in without asking. Dad's voice rose. You can't just uproot everyone. I can... The mortgage is in my name. That's technical, he snapped. No, I said. It's legal. Alyssa crossed her arms. My kids just started sleeping through the night again. They've been here 4 days. They need stability. So do I. Dad moved closer, lowering his voice. You wouldn't put your niece and nephew on the street. I'm not putting anyone on the street. You made this conditional. You told me if I didn't like it. Maybe this wasn't the right house for me. That was an argument. It was a boundary. Alyssa's eyes filled. So, this is punishment. It's consequence. She shook her head. You make 6 figures. You'll recover. Why blow it all up? Because I was tired of being assumed into obligation. Because comfort for you meant erasing me. But I kept it simple. I don't owe unlimited access to what I built. Dad's jaw tightened. You're choosing money over blood. I'm choosing agency over pressure. That word hung there. Karen texted mid-afternoon. Listing live. 3 showings scheduled tomorrow. 3. Dad looked at my phone. You moved fast. You didn't hesitate either. I said. Dinner that night was quiet. Forks scraping plates. No one meeting my eyes. My phone buzzed again before bed. 2 more showings added. Strong interest. I set it face down on the nightstand and lay back. The house didn't feel like mine anymore, but for the first time in weeks, my decision did. The first showing happened Sunday afternoon. Alyssa stayed upstairs with the kids. Dad hovered in the kitchen like he could scare buyers away with his stare. Karen texted me after the second showing. Strong interest. Dad saw my phone light up. What now? He asked. People like it. I said. He shook his head. You're enjoying this. I'm managing it. By Tuesday. We had 3 offers. Karen called me from her office. I could hear papers shuffling. 1 at $620,000, she said. 1 at $625. 1 at $628 with minimal contingencies. $628,000. My chest tightened. Not panic, just the weight of it. What's the catch? I asked. 30-day close. Standard inspection. Clean financing. I looked across the room at Dad. He was watching me like I was negotiating his fate. "I'll take the highest," I said. Karen paused. "You're sure?" "Yes." I hung up. Dad didn't ask right away. He waited. "Well," he said finally, "it's under contract." I said, "628,000. He let out a slow breath. "You didn't even talk to me." "You didn't talk to me." Alyssa came down the stairs. "Under contract already." "Yes." Her voice sharpened. "So that's it. We're just out. You've been here less than a week. That doesn't mean it's nothing. It means it wasn't yours." Dad slammed his hand against the counter. The sound echoed. "You're acting like a landlord," he said. "Not a daughter. Because you stopped treating me like one," I said. "That's unfair." "No. What was unfair was telling me I could leave my own home." He stared at me. Really stared. "I thought you'd cool down," he said quietly. "I'm not cooling down. I'm following through." Alyssa's voice broke. "Where are we supposed to go? I don't know," I said. "But I'm not carrying this forever." Dad's face shifted. Less anger, more calculation. "We can refinance," he said. "Put my name on the title. Make it shared." "With what income?" I asked. "You're retired. I'll figure it out." "You didn't figure it out before you moved everyone in." Silence. The inspection was scheduled for Friday. 30-day, close after that. 30 days. Dad looked smaller somehow. "You're serious," he said again. "I've been serious." Alyssa wiped her face with her sleeve. "You're blowing up the only stable thing we had." I almost laughed. "The only stable thing?" "I built that stability." I said, "And you treated it like it was automatic. No one said anything after that." That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling fan turning slow. I wasn't triumphant. I wasn't devastated, just steady. Do you know what it feels like when someone finally realizes you meant what you said? After the offer was accepted, the house didn't get louder. It got careful. Dad stopped pushing. That unsettled me more than the yelling ever did. He moved through rooms slower, like he was memorizing corners. Sometimes I'd catch him standing in the hallway, just looking. The inspection didn't go perfectly. Karen called on Friday. Buyers are asking for $12,000 in repairs. She said, "Electrical panel upgrade, some plumbing issues in the basement. It's not cosmetic. $12,000. I closed my eyes. If I say no, they can walk. Or renegotiate. Dad saw my face when I hung up. "What is it?" he asked. "They want repairs. About $12,000. His shoulders shifted, almost hopeful. "So maybe it falls through." "It might." He nodded slowly. "Maybe that's a sign. A sign of what? That this isn't supposed to happen." I looked at him. "Or it's a sign the house needs work." At dinner that night, the air felt thicker. "You don't have to do this," he said. "Take the house off the market. We'll figure something out. We had 3 years to figure something out." Alyssa pushed her food around her plate. "If the deal dies, maybe we can refinance. I can try to get something part-time." "With what credit?" I asked quietly. She bristled. "I'm working on it." "I hope you are." Dad leaned forward. "You act like we were using you." "You were." His jaw tightened. "That's harsh." "So was moving into my office without asking." Silence. "I didn't think you'd go this far," he said. "I didn't either." I admitted. That surprised all of us. Karen called the next morning. If you credit them $8,000 at closing, they'll move forward. $8,000 meant less equity, less cushion for me. Dad watched me take the call. "Well," he asked after. I agreed. I said, "We're still closing." He exhaled. Not relief, not anger, just resignation. Later that week, boxes reappeared, but this time they were being packed. Alyssa taped one shut and didn't look up. "I didn't think you'd actually choose this," she said. "I didn't think you'd actually assume I wouldn't." I replied. No one raised their voice, and somehow that felt heavier than any fight. 3 nights before closing, Dad knocked on my bedroom door. Not angry, not impatient, just a single knock. "Can we talk?" he asked. His voice had changed these past weeks. Less force, more weight. I opened the door. He stepped inside and actually closed it behind him. Like this was something private. "You're really not stopping this," he said. "No." He nodded once, like he'd rehearsed that answer in his head already. "I kept thinking something would happen," he admitted. "The inspection would kill the deal. Financing would fall apart. You'd cool off." "I didn't cool off," I said. I got clearer. He looked around the room. This had been my room since I bought the house. Fresh paint, new carpet, mine. "When you were little," he said slowly, "you used to line up your toys in straight rows. If your sister knocked one over, you'd start over from the beginning." I blinked. That wasn't where I expected this to go. "You liked order," he continued. "I used to tell your mother, that one's going to be the stable one." "Stable," I repeated. "Yes." He gave a small smile. "Reliable. The one who'd make sure things didn't fall apart. And when did that turn into funding everyone I asked quietly?" He flinched. "I didn't see it like that," he said. "I saw a daughter who could handle more. Handling more doesn't mean absorbing more." He sat in the chair by the window this time without asking. "I failed Alyssa," he said. "I let her marry a man I knew wasn't steady. I told myself she'd grow into responsibility. That's not something I can compensate for. I know that now." That word mattered. Now. He rubbed his hands together. "When I said maybe this wasn't the right house for you, I didn't think you'd take it literally. I took it seriously. I was angry. So was I." He looked at me longer this time, not as a parent correcting a child, as a man measuring consequences. "I thought you'd always take care of us," he said again, softer. "I did," I answered, "but I needed you to recognize it was a choice." Silence stretched, but it wasn't sharp. "You're not walking away from me," he said, almost asking. "No," I said. "I'm walking away from being assumed." He let out a slow breath. "I didn't think I was choosing her over you." "You were," I said. "Not cruel, just steady." He nodded, and for the first time, it didn't feel like winning. It felt like something ending that had been misnamed for years. The closing office smelled like printer ink and stale coffee. Same kind of room I signed in 3 years ago. Different ending. Karen slid the documents toward me. $628,000. She said, "Congratulations." Congratulations felt strange. Dad sat across the table, hands folded, Alyssa beside him, quiet for once. I signed my name, over and over. When it was done, the wire confirmation came through. Equity after payoff and fees landed just over $200,000. Dad cleared his throat. "So, that's it." "That's it," I said. Outside, in the parking lot. I handed him an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. 18,000. I said. "First month. Last month. Security deposit. For a rental. 3 months covered. After that, it's yours." Alyssa stared at me. "You're still helping." "Yes," I said. "But this is structured, not open-ended." Dad's jaw tightened. "You didn't have to." "I know." Alyssa looked down. "I didn't think you'd do any of this." "I know." Dad met my eyes. "You're not coming back to live with us." "No." Silence again. Not angry this time. Just final. "I thought you were overreacting," he said. "I wasn't." He nodded slowly. "Have you ever ended something and realized you're not relieved? Just different." I moved into the townhouse in Upper Arlington 2 weeks later. It wasn't grand. Smaller kitchen, narrow driveway, mortgage just under $1,900 a month. But when I locked the door the first night, the quiet felt earned, not fragile. Dad called that Sunday. We signed a lease, he said, 3 bedrooms. Not perfect, but close to the kids' school. That's good, I said. Alyssa started part-time at a medical office. I'm glad. There was a pause. I didn't understand how much you were carrying, he said. I tried to tell you. I know. His voice softened. I didn't want to see it. That felt more honest than an apology. I wasn't trying to take from you. He added. I know. I said. But intention doesn't erase impact. He was quiet for a moment. You're different lately. I had to be. After we hung up, Alyssa texted a photo of the kids' room, 2 twin beds under a small window. It's not big, she wrote, but it's ours. Ours. I sat on my new couch and stared at that word. For a second, doubt crept in. Maybe I could have handled it longer. Maybe I could have structured it differently. Maybe selling was drastic. Then I remembered my desk shoved against the wall, the sentence that made my home conditional, the assumption that stability was automatic because I could manage it. I don't think my father meant to choose sides. I think he mistook capability for obligation, and I let that happen for years. Choosing myself didn't feel triumphant. It felt uncomfortable, necessary, adult in a way that isn't glamorous. If there's anything I've learned, it's this: being the reliable one doesn't mean you're the endless one. You can help without disappearing. You can love without underwriting. I'm not angry. I'm not celebrating. I'm just standing on ground that's fully mine, and that feels steady enough.